Frank Mirahmadi's career, like many race callers, has been defined by movement, moving from job to job, moving his tack back and forth across the country. But now the California native has found his way home as the race caller at iconic Santa Anita. I talked to him about his winding road and how it led back to that coveted perch atop the great race place.
I was a racing fan from a very young age. My dad used to take me to the track, and I don't remember. A lot of people remember their first day at the races. I don't, because I wasn't talking yet. And so we went out to the race. I grew up in Southern California, so Hollywood Park, Santa Anita, an occasional trip to Del Mar. But as soon as I was able to go out to the races, it became my favorite sport by far. We had a lot of sports teams with Rams, Lakers, Dodgers. I couldn't care less. I wanted to go out to the track. I very early on in life became fascinated with the announcer. We had Harry Henson at Hollywood Park. We had the great Dave Johnson at Santa Anita, and Harry also called down at Del Mar. And so I loved their voices, and at a young age, I became an impersonator just because it was something I've never been able to put my finger on how it happened, but I just learned how to imitate voices. And since we were at the track every week, I started imitating track announcer voices. And Trevor Demon was always my favorite announcer. Once he came in '83, I was in high school. My whole perspective and appreciation for announcers went to an entirely different level. And so I actually never, ever practiced calling a race with binoculars before I called my first races, which is really crazy to say because most people practice, they went on the roof, etc. I used to call and imitate Trevor's style, and sometimes before a race, I'd give my opinion and I'd call it as Trevor for the fans. I just picked up the phone. It was instinct. And I called the track and I said, "My name is Frank Mirahmadi." I got the track president on the phone. I was a salesman, so you know how to get to the guy. You know, it's just like, that's a skill. You got to just kind of get through. Eventually, he invited me to call 2 races into a tape recorder in the press box. That was the first time I ever called a race in binoculars. My hands were shaking. I called 2 races for him in different voices. He compared that to the tape. Closing day '92, he somehow, some way let me come in. I still can't believe the way it happened, because if I don't get him on the phone that first time, I probably never call him again. And if I don't go and do that and experience that adrenaline and the feeling of calling a race as my idol to begin, it never happened. So I just think it was meant to be. Larry Comas left the job at Monmouth Park, and that is certainly one of the most coveted positions there is. They offered me the position, and I've enjoyed that immensely. And you're calling on the Jersey Shore, you get to call the Haskell, I got to call American Pharoah. I've traveled now for 22 years around the United States away from my home in California to do this. And I've maintained other jobs because I've had very limited years where I actually worked year-round announcing. Santa Anita is, to me, everything, because my idol, Trevor Demon, called there. And I actually learned how to call by watching him from the grandstand and just trying to figure out what he was doing. And so for this opportunity to present itself, it's shocking, and you know, I know a lot of people use that word, it's humbling, but it didn't happen the way I thought it would. There was an audition for this job a few years ago. I left the job at Oaklawn just wanting to put all my eggs into that basket, and it didn't work out at the time. And after that, I went through some health issues where the doctor at Monmouth Park and his insight saved my life. The grace of God is the only way I can really describe that, because I just, it's hard to comprehend. You know, when that press release came out, just to look at that and to know that they want me there to give my energies to that place. One thing, as I've always done anywhere I go, I give them my heart and soul, but I will work even harder than I already have because I'm a perfectionist, and to know that I'm there in that booth where some of the all-time legends have called. To me, Santa Anita is everything. So there's just, you know, they call it the great race place. I wanted to say in the press release that I refer to it as the greatest race place.
They're all set, and away they go, the Thoroughbred Daily News. They call it the TDN, but let me tell you this right now, ladies and gentlemen, when the breeding world wakes up, they're going to do one thing, and that's going to go to Thoroughbred Daily News. Thanks for being with us, and now, good night to you all.